Tencent just slipped 6% and then just bounced back up to 3% loss overall. So man, Tencent's Q4 earnings just came out and people are not happy about the results, and we're going to get into it in this video. But honestly, is this a new paradigm for the whole Chinese market? Because there's a lot of macro stuff happening in the Chinese market, and is that to blame for the results of Tencent, of JD.com, and Alibaba? And that's what we're looking at in today's video. We're just going to do a quick analysis on what happened with Tencent and if we should be bearish, bullish of the future of Tencent, and what do we see for the future. So guys, like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'm providing you guys with so much new content. Click that like button, click that subscribe button right now. So Tencent slips 6% after posting slowest growth on record. And this is what happens when you're dealing with a lot of macroeconomic issues, especially in China, man. For them to actually grow 8% in this environment is actually amazing, because they laid it out. This is a new paradigm shift in China due to all the regulatory concerns going on, all the new regulation. There's so much areas to be concerned about when it comes to China. But Tencent knows that it's going to adapt and create more value instead of peaking and expanding just for growth's sake. They're not going to do that as much anymore. So let's get into it. First, the results. So Q4 revenue was 8%, operating profit down 13%, and we're going to get into why that's happening and why it's down this year. Operating margins down 23%. So you can kind of see why people are not as excited about this quarter and why it went down 6% and then it kind of bounced up a little bit. Income, quarter after quarter, 25% decrease. Domestic revenue up 1%, international gaming up 34%, so some positive. The main businesses are actually doing really well, and that's what we like to see. The social network revenue up 4%, online advertising up 13%, social and other advertisement down 10%, media and advertisement down 25%, fintech business up 25%. So you see there is a mixed bag of what's working, what's not working for their business, and we have to know that some of the media and advertising, some of the social and other advertisement is going to be down, because here is what they're dealing with. Leave your comment down below. Tell me what you think about Tencent's Q4 results overall. And now we're going to talk about what the CEO said, and basically him realizing what's happening in China and what he's going to do better about it. And you have to remember, put this in context. This is just one quarter. So don't put all your eggs in just one quarter and saying this stock sucks, or don't put all your eggs in this quarter and saying we can see the future, this stock is still going to do amazing. So let's get into it. So I highlighted the important parts to me about this conference call and what Pony Ma is thinking about the future of Tencent. So 2021 was a challenging year. During the year, we embraced change and implemented certain measures that reinforces the company's long-term sustainability. And I love when companies talk about the long term, because that's what we're really looking for, these 10, 15-year results. But it had the effect of slowing our revenue growth, and that's going to come with a challenging year ahead, especially with, remember, they had zero pandemic policy. There's no flu cases, there's no cases allowed. If there is, they close everything down, so that's a major headwind. Imagine that, plus they're closing off a whole sector for them, so the advertising revenue is not going to be as high. Because remember, they closed down this private education, so you have to actually include that too. On top of that, gaming, domestic gaming wasn't as fierce, or people weren't expanding as much in domestic gaming because what China was doing in that sphere. So taking that all into account, that's why it was a challenging year. Now we're getting to the macroeconomic factor that's really affecting Tencent. However, for several years, industry participants have overemphasized zero-sum competition, aggressive marketing, reckless expansion, short-term growth, corporate benefit, overlooking the most important elements of the sustainable growth. As a result, the industry growth has become frothy and unhealthy. So this is kind of reiterating what the government is saying about the whole overall market, and this is why the macroeconomic sphere of what's happening in China has been growing very slow, because you cannot do this stuff the same amount they were doing before. Since early 2021, the internet industry has faced fundamentally changes and challenges. New regulations have been introduced to correct this behavior by industry participants, promote fair competition, user protection, and data security. At the same time, global macro environment has become more challenging. Amid these changes and challenges, we strongly believe that it's time for the internet industry to return to its roots of creating sustainable value in a responsible way. As Tencent, we believe we are well positioned for new industry paradigm. So that's what we're going to be looking forward. They're going to have to adapt to this new environment. That's why their margins have been reducing, because of how they have to shift their businesses to succeed in this new environment. Our margins reduced due to operating deleverage, reflecting three key factors. First, our investments in strategic growth areas, mainly sales as a service, video accounts, international games. Second, our increased costs in response to aggressive marketing activities and tense talent competition in the industry during the course of 2020-2021. Third, high revenue contribution from business services, which currently have a low gross margins. For advertising, as we adapt to the new environment and further upgrade our ad solutions, we expect growth to receive in the late 2020. The domestic games, we expect to fully digest the impact of minor protection measures in the second half of 2022, and we benefit from more the new game launches when they are new. So that's how you can see that they're going to be adapting to all this happening in the market of China. So don't worry about this quarter result, because a lot of people are saying only 8% growth. I don't know about what's going on with Tencent, and I don't know how they're going to sustain that. And people are really actually worried about that Tencent in the future won't be producing these results because of the new macroeconomic environment. 2018, the same thing happened in the market, that people were saying Tencent can't do it again. The Chinese, the government actually stopped the new domestic games, the same thing they did in 2018, and people were counting them out, but that wasn't the case. They bounced back from that. So when you think about it, they're going to recover from everything that's going on. And this was a question about kind of getting more value out of the company as they actually released the shares of JD.com, seized with the JD.com de-investment. They're actually paying a dividend from that. And they want to know, how are they looking at their business going forward, as there's so much room for investments as their stock is undervalued. They said they're going to continue to invest in private businesses and actually keep investing in public companies and keep acquiring companies. That's your main goal, as they really focus on return on their investment on their different companies that they own. So they're going to expand that portfolio, so it doesn't matter what the environment is. And that's going to have a huge effect, because they're actually right now putting more money into undervalued companies. So 5-10 years down the line, this can be hugely profitable for the companies. We balance investments in the business versus investments in other company versus buybacks and so forth. And our core business is highly cash flow generative, and our core business is very capable of funding the investments internally that we're making in areas such as video accounts, enterprise software, and international game expansion. Beyond that, we do invest in other companies as well, and when we are considering the merits of investing in other companies versus conducting share buybacks or distributions directly to shareholders, then of course, there's a number of variables we look at, one of which is the relative valuation of our own stock. So if their stock keeps going down, they're considering more buybacks and how they're going to allocate their money. And we know Pony Ma is amazing at doing that, so I don't have any worries about that. And so we can see that in the past few months, we have been active in terms of the distribution in the kind of the JD stock. We have been active in terms of buying back shares on the market, and we also declared our regular dividend. So those are the three channels through which we have been returning capital to shareholders. So you just see they have so much opportunity ahead of themselves, as they're going to actually start being more cost efficient. They see their fintech business actually generating more income, value as a service generating more income, software as a sales starting to generate more income, and they're going to do a regular dividend and actually more buybacks and invest in more private companies. Like, where can they go wrong with this company, man? So there's so much to look forward when it comes to Tencent. So guys, what do you think about all this, man? Like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll get back to you in the next video. Peace.